Hey Drew, just gonna look at what you're talking about here. Okay. So this is 5 by 5. That has the bleeds included in the document. So that's probably why your ropes are getting cut off. Ideally, you could Photoshop this from the PSD file that you started of the back cover. Let's see, let's look at these in Photoshop and see what size they are. Because like you said, these look right, and it's probably because when you export out the PNGs, the bleeds aren't included in the PNG, but we can see that for sure if we go to image size, and put this on inches, 4.75 by 4.75. So this doesn't include the bleeds, and that's why that rope looks different than it does in your PDF, which is out of InDesign. That actually includes the bleeds in it. It's going to crop down to this, though, when it's done. The reason for bleeds is that the printer can't go all the way to the edge of the paper. So as a designer, you have to set up the document with a little bit of overhang. And so they print it bigger than it actually needs to be by 1/8 of an inch all the way around the document, and then they trim it down to size so that the color goes all the way to the edge of the paper. I don't know if that makes sense, but you know, bleeds can be kind of hard to understand. Let's see, this is the INDD file. I'll open that up and I'll kind of show you what's going on here. This looks good. This looks good. Okay, so if I export this file, export, I'm just going to put it in that random folder that I made on my desktop, so I'm not making a mess on my desktop all of the time. Okay, and I'm going to make a PDF print, save all pages. We'll do the marks and bleeds, but we'll also do the crop marks, just so you can see what I'm talking about here. And I'll go onto my desktop into that folder that I exported that out. Do it by date modified. And then here we go, double click on that. So you can see where it's going to get cropped down to if you include the crop marks in your document. So you can see how we set it up in InDesign. And the bleeds go to here and here basically, and the crop marks are here. So the printer would actually print this on a piece of paper and then trim it down to size using these crop marks so that the ink goes all the way to the edge of the paper, because like I said, printers can't print all the way to the edge. So those PNG files that you have just don't have the bleeds included. But yeah, this all looks good. Just did a quick look over. It all looks nice. Let's look and see if this is fixed. Yep. Yep, looks good. Great job. Hopefully that answers your question. Also, I can show you how to potentially fix this rope. I'm not going to use the screenshot though. I took a screenshot of yours earlier. Let's see here. Okay, I'm going to bring this into Photoshop. It's a PDF. It's not the best thing to bring into Photoshop, but I can, just for the sake of this, what the heck? For this, just to show you, I just want to bring in page 2, so I'm going to do that. I'm going to bring it in at 300, CMYK, push OK. Oh, I didn't want to do the middle page. I don't know why I did that. I wanted to do the back page. So let's try this again. Drag it over the icon. Choose the back page this time. 300, CMYK color, push OK. Okay. So, as you can see, if I zoom in, Command plus, and use the spacebar, you can see that rope isn't going all the way to the edge. But we can, in Photoshop, use the clone stamp tool. And I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. This is, I can just do it up here. Make sure you're in Essentials workspace. And then, so if you push Option on your keyboard, click down one time, you can actually, it's not the best thing, but it does pretty well actually. I click down twice. I have the opacity and the flow set to 100%. Mode is in normal. Size is 68. I'm going to use my spacebar again. Come down here. And I would do this in your original PSD file that you exported, that you saved out of Photoshop, not the PDF like I'm using. I'm just using the PDF because it was kind of quick to find. But you should try to use, you should really try to use the original PSD that you had. So with this one, I might have to make my brush harder, probably all the way 100% hardness, because it's starting to pick up part of the rope that is going vertical. And it's kind of hard to understand how to do this, but basically wherever you push Option is where it samples from. And since my brush is so big, I need to bring it down in size to do this part of it, probably about half the size, and then I can sample from here and just ever so slightly move it out. And push down 3 times in the same spot. And you let up on Option. Option is basically just sampling an area of the image. So I'm going to sample from this area of the rope. I'm going to push Option down. I get this kind of like little different icon, almost looks like a bullseye. Click down 1 time, move over, and then click down 3 times. And basically it just sampled from over here. And then right here you can make that up too. You can do an Option, click down, and well, maybe I'll start from here. Option, click down, let up on Option, click down 3 times without moving. And that actually looks pretty good. Like if that prints up, nobody's going to notice that you did that. And you won't have to worry about it getting trimmed off accidentally, like in, you know, when the printer goes to trim this down with using the crop marks, those ropes aren't going to, you know for sure if they're going all the way to the bleed line, which is right here, that they're definitely not going to, there's not going to be an issue basically. So Option, click down, extend the rope. Oh, that one didn't turn out very good. You can always go back in history. There's a history panel here. You can also go to window history if it's not open. And you can actually go back a few with the clone stamp. I'm going to try Option again. Actually, let me see. Option again, click down, let up with Option, and then that's not too bad. And then I'll do the same thing here with the clone stamp. It's a pretty nice tool. Option, click down, and click, click, click. There we go. And if I ever need a backup, I can go into the history panel and back up using, you know, all the times I've clicked down with the clone stamp tool, which is quite a few. But that should fix your rope issue if you use that clone stamp tool here in Photoshop. Windows, Workspace Essentials, make sure you're in that workspace. Anyway, talk to you later.